Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Now we're now stepping into the first talk show of the day where we'll be discussing about the negative impacts related to gadgets. Now, this time we'll discuss about social media.
Hey, who doesn't have social media,
That's
right?
That's a large spectrum right there.
Now, currently almost 4.8 billion people use social media. And according to the University of Maine, that number represents 59.9% of the Earth's population.
Wow.
Wow, scrolling social media is fun. It is. I hate to admit it is. You can interact with friends and even famous artists.
Definitely, but did you know that social media is also a place that makes it easy for someone to compare themselves with other people? Usually it does, whether it's from their clothes and cars, their travel destinations, and followers on social media can influence materialistic people to always want more than other people. Therefore, it is with us right now in our studio, clinical psychologist of personal growth, Shierlen Octavia. Good morning, Shierlen.
Yes, good morning.
Now, you are back again right here in the studio. We're going to be talking something where it's been so in a pinnacle of our social nowadays. Now, let us talk about materialism. Can you explain with us more and further in depth about this?
Yes, of course. So materialism is, in psychology, is defined as a tendency to value material possessions and physical comfort as a measurement of personal worth, and then sense of purpose, kind of like that, and finally happiness, even success. So materialism usually related to two factors. So there are two factors that can make someone become more materialistic. The first one is because we are exposed to like messages that suggest how wealthy people are those who are having many material possessions.
Okay.
But the second factor is something that's somewhat less obvious. So it can be caused by feelings of insecurity, and then threatened. So like being in an economic fears, or like the thoughts of their own death can also trigger more materialistic or more materialism in people.
Yeah. So materialism, do you think there's a positive side of it? Because if you're saying sense of purpose, let's say your sense of purpose, your purpose in life, you work hard because you want to make yourself happy. And let's say one particular thing, maybe for women, is bag and shoes. Well, why not? You work hard for it, but it makes you happy.
Yes,
Can you see that as a positive note also, or?
Yes, so actually everything has its good and also bad sides.
Okay.
So of course for materialism, it's true that it can drive someone to work hard to achieve what they want, their goals in life, even though it's just material possessions.
Yes, yeah.
Yes, and if we see it from like a bigger perspective, like social or economic system, of course spending more can increase
Thank you for noting that, Shirley. He's going to be happy for that.
yeah, economic growth for a nation, yes, and also profit for companies, of course.
Yeah, but there's always a limit.
Yes.
Yes.
Now, mind you, I grew up in a place, you know, I'm not exposed to, like, if you grew up in Jakarta or Surabaya or Medan, probably you've seen, like, a lot of these materialistic things. Like, growing up, I never actually understand, like, you know, like, shoes or watch. Like I know some kids, like, bringing back, like, Air Jordan back in the days. I was like, is that better than my shoes? Like, I don't understand. But nowadays, like, everybody with social media can access, like, this... what do you call it? Like everybody's showing off and like you know flexing like people understanding, and like it become more like a place to show off. So how can one avoid such a materialistic things, especially in this era of social media?
Yes, so it's true that research also shows that someone who engage more in social media is also more prone to like adopt the materialistic value due to like how people and also companies depict like how successful people is someone that is good looking, popular, and then also wealthy. But of course we have to like limit our social media spending time, and also be aware, also always be mindful of what we consume. So it doesn't mean that we shouldn't use social media altogether, but we have to filter every information that we that we see. Like, well, our first reaction to someone's post is envy, usually envy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people always curate what they want to post in their on their social media.
Of course.
Yes, we have to be aware that we really don't know like the situation or the true situation that can be far more complex than the photo shows.
That's right.
Yes, for example, we don't know whether someone is saving so much, so much money back then to buy that house that that he or she showcases.
Or
on,
traveling to a like certain
traveling,
destination.
yes, and we also have to be aware that even though we know the struggle, it doesn't always mean that we do want to go through what they went through.
Yes.
Yes, just to get that sessions of immaterial.
Because everybody has a different journey, right?
Yeah.
And in regards to this, because you touch upon base something that's very, interesting, because there are moments where I like to be very honest on my social media, and then there'll be some feedback saying like you should not share too intimate details about your life. But I'm just sharing about how I would give time out to my kids, right? Because sometimes I would post pictures of my children when they're in the happy mood, and then sometimes when people are like, oh, your kids are always behaving. I was like, no, you don't know the true story about it. And then I would post something when they're just doing, they're just not doing well or not behaving well. And people are like, why do you do that to your kids? I'm like, so which one do you want? Like, I'm showing the true side of everything, but you don't want that. But in regards to what you touched, you were also saying about Air Jordans. Sometimes when we know about the value, right? Any brand is the same, but if it's more, the quality is better, then it'll be more pricey. So people should think more about the value as opposed to like, oh, I'm flexing because this is a new Air Jordan and whatnot. The negative impact of, of putting all this materialistic on social media, to what extreme you might say, Shirley?
Okay, so for materialism, we know that it oftentimes bring more harm than good. Yes, because we can adopt like an unrealistic view of to what extent we have to have like material possessions and physical comfort, to the point of research also show that having adopt too materialistic view can lead to lower satisfaction of life. And then, lower sense of purpose and also overall personal well-being, even higher levels of anxiety and depression.
All right. So there's the moral also,
yes,
right?
Yes. It's not necessarily that materialistic people is immoral. No, it's not like that. But they have like different sense of moral values, because they put their own self-interest as priorities. So their behaviors can sometimes manifest like it is immorality.
Right, so it can be seen from that kind of specs also. What do you think about Anthony Tate?
But what?
Tate. There's
I'm not a fan actually. So.
Because he's always like, oh, you have to be like, you have a lot of money, you gotta be rich, you gotta work,
Yeah, I
Some
mean,
people would see it as
like the idea is not, I mean, all right, if you want to make money, then go ahead and make money, but I just don't like him, I guess, like personally. But again,
there's that.
I'm not the person who against anybody who having money or anything per se, or if you want to flex, go ahead. I'm not the one that gonna judge you on that actually, me per se.
Yes.
Right. I see. Here's the thing. Like being
Please explain.
I will see people wearing watches, but for the investment value. That's the funny thing. See, I will like when somebody wearing Patek Philippe.
Yes.
I will be like, that's too much money for a watch.
Okay.
Because the resale value is hard. But if you're wearing Rolex, you can sell it anytime.
Right.
So it's like one of
Like
the
a
things.
Hermes bag. Husband, are you hearing this? It goes up in values.
Apparently that's an investment. So again, I don't see it like an Air Jordan. I just happen not to be a fan of the shoes. I'm not saying it's a bad or good thing. It's just like it's not my type.
Yeah.
It's like,
but you know that you can buy it for $250, and then in like 10 years it's
resell
going to
it.
be like $5,000.
And there's another thing, like motorcycle, like Vespa or anything
That's right.
that. So,
Yes.
but again, materialism. So, but again, back to what you're saying. So, if we want to post something, how should we post something, Alain? So when we upload something, it doesn't have any, I don't know, do I want to say a bad influence on other people or anything like that? So how should we upload?
Okay, so first of all, we have to be like evaluate ourselves with who we are instead of what we have. So we have to prioritize being over having. Yes, this can impact how we want to like show ourselves, because by evaluating ourselves with who we are, we will want to show our positive and our positive sides of selves, and then we also want to genuinely post like something that reflects us instead of like our possessions.
Yeah.
Yes, and the second one is to like to be aware or allow ourselves 24 hours before posting any post that might be questionable, because we have more time to reflect whether it's a good idea to post it or not. And the last one is like to also be mindful that even though we have like all this positive intention to post on social media, like we want to share with other people about our insights or anything, we cannot control like what other people think about our posts.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yes.
So that's what I want to ask though. It seems it's very complicated to even engage with social media nowadays. You were saying right now from this perspective of someone who wants to post something on social media.
Yes.
Now let's go into the other role, people that is watching, that is looking through social media. What kind of how can we clean our heart, and what should we do before we start opening our social media so that we'll not be provoked or be kind of have that ill feeling when we see someone that's much more successful, has more material than you do.
Oh, I'm guilty of
in your
that.
stage right now. How can we have a conscience and clean heart to see?
Okay. I think the most important thing is to like practice gratitude.
Okay.
Because oftentimes we like lose sight of what is very important in our lives. So we think having more materials are something that is our goals. But if we take time, so we can have this thought exercise. Imagine that all of our possessions are taken away from us, and then we can only get one thing back at a time, but only if we appreciate it enough. So by imagining that, it can bring like or clarify our values. Yeah, like we know what stuffs or things that actually brings us joy into this life.
Yes.
Oftentimes it is the simple act of like relaxing with our family, or having like cute time with our friends that actually bring more meaning. So it doesn't matter what other people post, because it is it's their lives, it's not ours.
Yeah. I like what you say about gratitude, and if I can choose one, it will be my house, because it's a rooftop, right? A roof on our heads with my family in it, and that's that's the most precious thing to me.
Yes.
I mean, it's. I need to reflect more, because the funny
Reflecting.
thing, maybe some of the posting, like we've been discussing, like people flexing and stuff like that. The one that actually bothers me, like, because the things that I follow is like Yahoo Finance, Bloomberg. Like we're talking about stocks and stuff. Like the one that always get me is like, I should buy that stock beforehand. That greed, like it's still in me. Like, man, I was gonna buy that one, but again, like never.
But isn't that positive for you? So that next time you'll be faster in taking your
not
action?
necessarily, because like because when you play stocks, you only know certain companies and you only invested on certain things, and it's the greed that you want, like, oh, I should buy this one too, I should buy this one too. But again, like my stock is not doing bad anyway. It's just the one, like, oh my God, that one's doing 10%.
It's
Mine's
more
only
shinier. Gratitude. Shierlen just said gratitude.
Right.
We're having like a counseling. Like
Thank you. Yes. Now with that, so in closing scope, can it be said that currently social media is one of the reasons people being unhappy?
Okay. So I think it is not very accurate to say that social media is the root of unhappiness. Because we know that while social media is designed to get us engaged more in it, and it can bring us to like have more unhealthy comparisons, and also increasing like the chance of having social isolation or loneliness due to like decreasing, I think, real life interactions or activities. Actually, we know that there are people out there who can use social media to enhance their happiness too,
Yes.
such as staying connected with the people they love,
right, yeah.
or like finding supportive community through social media.
Yeah.
Yes.
So all in all, I think the one reason that brings like unhappiness is our mindset.
Yes.
Yeah, and also like how we utilize social media. I think if we can adopt this positive and but also realistic way
Yeah.
of like exploring the social media and also how we see our problems in life, it can bring more positivity in our lives. So we don't get envious with other people.
That's right.
Yes.
It's which lenses that you're taking in,
Yeah.
right? Which lenses are you watching it through?
Yes.
And I think for a mature age, just the three of us, I think we can curate, our feelings.
Yeah.
But for the younger generation, and we remember when we were in our teens,
Yes.
that time we don't have a social media, but now everything is social media. People would see, oh, my classmate has this. How come my classmate is watching Taylor Swift? How come I'm not? Right? Those kind of things. So it's our duty as parents also to
Yes.
kind of like be there.
Have to
with our
monitor.
children. Right, Shierlen?
Yeah, I also want to watch Taylor Swift. All right, Shierlen, thank you so much for sharing with us
Yes.
on the C Morning
It's
Show.
always a pleasure.
Yes.
Yeah, it's always my pleasure.
All right, with that one, we are set for a commercial break. When we return, we'll bring you more news from the world headlines. See here on C Morning Show.
So it's a watch.